Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my trading project entitled the Oil Baron Project. The objective of this campaign is to demonstrate the viability and success of my proprietary trading system by providing visual evidence of my trading talent via account statements, trading logs, etc. This journey will also provide the viewer with valuable insights into my trading ecosystem and trading community, which has the positive externality of facilitating one's own trading development. This is mainly attributed to the fact that following my content over time allows the viewer to learn more about modern financial engineering, which directly accentuates one's trading progress in the pursuit of better decision making within the high frequency and very volatile market environment. This is also a larger chronicle of my own life and how I try to balance the inevitable feelings of greed, fear, arrogance, modesty, narcissism, and humbleness in order to build the life for myself, my family, and my friends that I have dreamt of since I was a boy in his youth. Indeed, over this journey, you will also see that I am not an infallible human being, and you will observe my strengths, my weaknesses, my triumphs, and my mistakes. From these observations and introspections, you will hopefully discover the epiphany that one does not need to be perfect to win in the market, but rather one only needs to be consistent. Every life experience up to this point has led and preened me for this moment, the moment in which I challenge the paradigm that one cannot beat the market or survive as a trader with longevity. You will watch me in real time from day one grow my portfolio, which is my personal money supply that I aim to exponentially increase and compound from the minimum account balance required into millions. This rags to riches narrative, if you will, can be considered my legacy, and it is attributed to the unique time and place that I live and trade in. The intersection of global geopolitical economics, the uncertainty of statistics, in an arena in which a financial instrument's value is truly only derived from the willingness of another market participant to buy or sell in that moment in real time, the certainty of mathematics, in which insolvent market participants are automatically and forced to liquidate their positions via forced margin calls, etc., the elegance and power of computer science, and the highly manipulated market environment in which the skeleton key algorithms dominate all others without an advantage via clever financial engineering through the abuse of specific market mechanics. In all honesty, and this distinction is very important to me, my career choice as a futures trader is less about actually making money, but rather earning an income as a consequence of my pursuit of absolute patience, discipline, honor, integrity, and ambition. I try to live my life the best way that I am able, and I do not wish for the negative externalities of wealth to adversely influence myself and the ones important to me. In this way, I conceptually separate the ideas of money as a resource to purchase goods and services to improve one's standard of living, and money as business inventory. A lot of what I do as a futures trader comes down to basic market psychology and the identification of greed and fear, characteristics of which are multi-generational as fundamental human nature remains consistent over time. We all learn from our ancestors, using their discoveries, the new information accessed, and our ascribed socioeconomic statuses to see further atop their shoulders. You see, humans are not naturally good traders. The same emotional responses and instincts that have enabled our species to grow and thrive on Earth are also the same emotional responses and instincts that hurt our trading prowess through the bandwagon, herding, and outcome biases. Greed, fear, hope, panic, complacency, and denial are some of the most common key emotions that every individual will feel in the market system at some point in their life. To train your mind objectively and rationally against these instincts and fallacies will greatly increase your performance in the market. As an extension of this idea of how humans are social creatures and share information, my focus on the market within my trading ecosystem is on the nature of asymmetric information and how much of the news through consolidated media owned by large corporations will tell you what to think and show you what to watch, an idea of which is similar to ignoring the purposeful placement of white space in art. Even the information given out by large financial institutions, analysts, technical reports, etc., is simply an act and exercise of disinformation and theater. Indeed, as controversial as it sounds, my trading system assumes that the market is more rigged than most would like to admit, and that one can capitalize on this predetermined design by simply following the movements of the elites, the ones who truly move markets by the sheer magnitude of their money supply, projecting their support and resistance levels via order flow and liquidity. As a result, when it comes to oil, I largely ignore reports like the EIA, the API, and the rig count from a quantitative perspective of the report's inherent data. Again, in my system, they are more theater, similar to the TSA for me, and the only real reason why I even give them validity and authenticity is that others add order flow via liquidity into the system at those time periods through level 2, thus increasing volatility as bots and algorithms wipe out stops and insolvent market participants in both directions before rebalancing in the favor of the winners. For emphasis, I will also say that I do not care about being right, as in I don't aim to create price targets days, weeks, months, or years in advance, and then let those price targets bias my positions. Instead, I care about mathematical consistency and mathematical harmony in the zero-sum market, and aim to optimize my own patience, discipline, conviction, and commitment. Making money, to reiterate, is not my primary concern, but rather it is the byproduct of good trading and the commitment to one's own trading plans and trading systems. I aim to profit in smaller blips of time, using my money as inventory, and wish to remain in complete cash most of the time. I only want to be in the market for a few hours of time each day, and I reduce my risk appropriately. Again, to reiterate for emphasis, in my life, I conceptually bifurcate money as a tool and money as a medium for the exchange of goods and services. This distinction is very important to me as it suggests that I use the money in my portfolio as investment to make more money, and then use the proceeds to support my loved ones. I do not let money run my life centrally, and I do not let money contribute to greed and other undesirable negative externalities of wealth that would influence and infect my personality, how I treat people, as a disease. I never have, and I never will allow money to corrupt and consume my soul, which in my humble opinion is how I manage my own success and how I manage making money consistently over time without it again negatively influencing my life. This means that I really only trade As a result, I only trade favorable risk to reward positions in a pre-designed binomial environment of support versus resistance, supply versus demand, and greed versus fear. This means that I only trade one financial instrument at a time, and I try to hyper-aggressively increase my win rate with that one specific asset. Currently, that one financial instrument or underlying asset that I trade is the commodity oil via oil futures contracts of QM and CL. Again, this is why my mascot online is the Oil Baron. Indeed, this seems a little bit eccentric, as employees in the financial advisory community will tell you that you should always diversify your portfolio, that you should always have money working for you somewhere. The main reason why I disagree with the fundamentally flawed rhetoric of diversification is that it implies opportunity cost. One cannot accurately research and devote the time necessary to track dozens, hundreds, or thousands of financial instruments. Amusingly enough, it actually comforts the individual into complacency by having a well-diversified portfolio, which counterintuitively increases your risk. For example, why would I want to hold money into an ambiguous earnings report when the information contained in that report was probably leaked from insiders weeks and months in advance, either directly or via proxy information that can be digested by big money players and their employees? You're essentially playing against the house in these kind of situations, and that is when trading becomes gambling. They want you to gamble on earnings reports, follow their news, follow their rumors, and then stick your head into the sand when things go south, as you lose money in the long run as their superior quantitative analysis steals your money supply. Again, to reiterate for emphasis, I would rather devote my time and energy in trading a niche financial instrument with a 90 to 95% win rate than try to trade dozens, hundreds, or thousands of financial instruments with a 50% win rate. This is the main reason why I only focus on the oil commodity, because it is one of the few markets on Earth that has consistent volume, volatility, and liquidity, accessible 23 hours a day via the futures market. This suggests that having a higher win rate during high-frequency intraday price fluctuations is more desirable. With that introduction said, let's begin this journey together. Remember, we in the public domain are not in competition with each other. In fact, we are all really just trying to take back what we deserve, and we are in competition with the elite, the small share of humans that hold the vast majority of the planet's wealth in their own reserves. I'll be updating this series weekly, but day one began on Friday, February 6th, and so I start my content at that point in time and aim to produce my next video next weekend to document my trading performance through the week beginning February 8th. So I have two documents here that I would like to share. The first document is a screenshot of my timestamp buys and sells of QM contracts, which for those who are not familiar are the half-sized E-mini crude oil futures contracts. The second document, which is more important, is my daily trading statement through TD Ameritrade. I have blacked out my personal identification information for security purposes like my name, home address, account number, etc. The core information and the information that is most relevant is my gross profit or loss and my profit or loss after commissions and fees. You will notice on Friday, February 6th, I made a return of $375, which after commissions and fees was a return of $361.16. You'll also notice that I only bought and sold one futures contract at a time, which has an initial margin requirement of $2.2 thousand to be consistent with my starting from the bottom approach. Again, $375 in one day does not sound like a lot, but $375 on a $2.2 thousand investment is a return on investment of 17.05%. If you consider net profit or loss after commissions and fees, my return is adjusted and decreased to 16.42%. And yes, that is correct. I generated approximately a 16 to 17% return, depending on how you want to calculate it, on my first day trading oil futures within my trading system. Again, it depends on how exactly you've set this up. For example, I have a trading LLC in which I can deduct business expenses like commissions and fees from my taxable income. So again, it's really up to the individual and their circumstances to calculate their profits versus losses. Anyways, with all of that said, that really completes all that I wanted to say in this pilot episode. I hope that everyone who watches this video enjoys my content and enjoys my content moving forward and supports the journey that I am committed to undertaking. My next video, to reiterate, will be scheduled for next Saturday, which is the 13th of February, and I'll be discussing my results from February 8th through February 12th. I hope that everyone has a great day and remembers my piece of wisdom that patience and discipline in trading will holistically positively affect your life, as that patience and discipline learned through trading can then be used in all aspects of your life, such as your career, your social interactions, and the completion of your goals.